They lit up the stage with soul, power, and pain. But for these 10 R&B legends, the spotlight didn't last forever. From Teddy Pendergrass's tragic turn to the shocking silence of Donny Hathaway, these are the voices that were taken from us too soon or too suddenly. Here are 10 R&B icons who were forced off the stage. Number 10, Betty Wright, the soul survivor who ran out of time. She was just 17 when Clean Up Woman made her a household name in 1971. Betty Wright had a voice that scratched the surface of heartbreak, then soared into gospel fire. She wasn't just a singer. She was a songwriter, vocal coach, and mentor to future stars like Beyoncé.
Just making it easy for the Clean Up Woman.
But behind the scenes, Betty fought battles few ever saw. After the 1980s, radio turned its back on old school soul. Labels dropped her, so she built her own, Miss B Records. Even then, Wright had to tour relentlessly to stay afloat. In the 2010s, she made a quiet comeback, working with the Roots and Joss Stone. But cancer struck fast and quietly. She kept singing until just weeks before her death in 2020. You can still hear her in every run sung by the women she taught. And if that was the quiet exit of a fighter, wait until you hear the next story. Number 9, David Ruffin, the voice that couldn't escape the shadows. He didn't just sing for the Temptations, he became the Temptations. That gritty, aching tenor on My Girl was David Ruffin pouring his soul into every note like it was his last. By 1968, Ruffin's ego clashed with the group's harmony. He demanded top billing, missed shows, and let success pull him under. Motown let him go, but the fans never did. His solo tracks like My Whole World Ended were raw, honest cries for redemption. But David struggled off stage. He battled addiction, legal trouble, and an industry that had moved on. Even during brief reunions, he never truly found peace. In 1991, he collapsed from a drug overdose in a Philadelphia crack house, just blocks away from where he was supposed to meet producers for a comeback. No spotlight, no final tour, just silence. If that was tragedy in the shadows, the next legend faced a very public unraveling that shocked fans around the world. Number 8, Phyllis Hyman, the voice that carried too much pain. Her voice was velvet, smooth, rich, and endlessly aching. Phyllis Hyman didn't just sing songs, she lived them. From her early jazz roots to her solo hits like You Know How to Love Me, she carried herself with elegance and strength. But behind the glamour was a woman quietly breaking. By the 1990s, the music industry had shifted, leaving behind sophisticated adult soul for younger pop-driven R&B. Phyllis's albums stopped charting, labels stopped calling, but she kept performing, filling theaters with fans who still believed in her magic. Depression haunted her like a slow, steady storm. She talked openly about her mental health struggles, even as she fought to finish her last album. In 1995, just hours before a scheduled performance at the Apollo Theater, Phyllis took her own life. She left behind a note, part heartbreak, part farewell, part exhaustion. Her final album, I Refuse to Be Lonely, was released posthumously. Listening to it now feels like hearing someone sing from the edge of goodbye. If that felt like a storm held in a single voice, the next legend's departure came like thunder, loud, sudden, and world-shaking. Number 7, Marvin Gaye, the genius who couldn't outrun his demons. By the early 1970s, Marvin Gaye wasn't just an R&B star, he was a conscience. What's Going On didn't sound like anything else on the radio. It sounded like truth, Vietnam, poverty, police brutality, broken hearts. Marvin sang it all, softly and fearlessly. But that sensitivity came at a cost. Fame magnified his pain. Legal battles with Motown, a brutal divorce, crushing tax debt, and deep drug addiction followed him into the late 1970s. Even when sexual healing brought him roaring back in 1982, the peace never lasted. Behind closed doors, Marvin's relationship with his father had grown volatile and toxic. By 1984, Marvin had retreated to his parents' home in Los Angeles, fragile and exhausted. On April 1st, just one day before his 45th birthday, an argument turned deadly. Marvin Gaye was shot and killed by his own father. The world lost one of its greatest voices in a moment no one could have imagined. And if that was a legend silenced at home, the next story involves a collapse that happened right in front of the world. Number 6. Donny Hathaway, the genius who vanished into the night. Donny Hathaway's voice felt like home, warm, aching, spiritual. From his duets with Roberta Flack to his soul-bearing solo tracks like A Song for You, Donny didn't just sing. He reached inside you and made you feel.
And I'm singing this song to you.
But behind the brilliance was a mind in turmoil. Diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia in the 1970s, Hathaway's battle with mental illness became more than just a personal struggle. It was a war waged quietly, even as he recorded some of the most intimate music of the decade. Sessions became unpredictable, friends were pushed away, and still, Donny's voice remained untouchable, especially during live performances that left audiences in tears. Then came that January night in 1979. After a recording session with Flack, Hathaway was found dead outside his New York hotel, an apparent suicide. No note, no final song, just silence. If these stories are hitting home, give this video a like. It helps us keep the soul alive for future generations. And stick around. We've still got 5 more powerful stories to come. If that was a genius lost in the fog, the next icon was taken by something even crueler, just when he was ready to shine again. Number 5, Teddy Pendergrass, the lion who was caged too soon. In the late 1970s, Teddy Pendergrass wasn't just a sex symbol. He was the voice of bedroom soul. With a growl wrapped in velvet, he moved from drummer to frontman with Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, and then rocketed into solo stardom with hits like Turn Off the Lights and Close the Door.
Just turn off the lights.
Women-only concerts sold out. His stage presence was magnetic, his swagger untouchable. But in 1982, tragedy struck. Teddy's Rolls-Royce crashed on a winding Philadelphia road. The accident left him paralyzed from the chest down. In a split second, the man built for the stage was confined to a wheelchair. But Teddy didn't give up. He returned to the studio. He performed at Live Aid in 1985 with millions watching. Still, the industry moved faster than he could catch up. Health issues worsened. And in 2010, complications from surgery took him at just 59. He never stopped singing, even when his body stopped moving. And if that was about defiance in the face of tragedy, the next legend saw her light dimmed by something more insidious: industry silence. Number 4, Millie Jackson, the outspoken queen who was pushed aside. Millie Jackson never held back. Her songs were raw, fiery, and often hilarious, combining deep Southern soul with spoken word storytelling that was decades ahead of its time. In the 1970s, tracks like If Loving You Is Wrong and Caught Up made her a force, especially among women who saw themselves in her no-nonsense truth.
If loving you is wrong, I don't wanna be right.
But Millie wasn't built for radio's comfort zone. She said what she wanted, cursed when she felt like it, refused to conform, and the industry punished her for it. Despite charting several hits and crafting concept albums that rivaled Marvin's in scope, radio stations began banning her, and labels distanced themselves. By the 1990s, she was virtually erased from playlists, not because she faded, but because she refused to shrink. Millie's legacy lives on in artists like Cardi B and Lizzo, but the world she helped build rarely gave her proper credit. And if that was censorship by silence, what happened next was an actual silencing, brutal and final. Number 3, Sam Cooke. The legend struck down in his prime. He was the architect of soul music. Sam Cooke bridged gospel and pop like no one before him, with hits like You Send Me, Cupid, and the civil rights anthem, A Change Is Gonna Come. He didn't just make music, he made history.
A change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
By 1964, Cooke had it all: chart-topping records, his own label, and a growing voice in the fight for Black equality. He was planning something big, something that could have changed the course of soul forever. But fate had other plans. That December, Sam was shot dead in a Los Angeles motel under murky circumstances. Official reports called it self-defense. Many still question it to this day. He was just 33. Cooke's death sent shockwaves through the music world. It wasn't just the loss of a voice, it was the loss of a movement in motion. If that was a dream stolen too early, the next artist watched his dream fade slowly and painfully with each passing year. Number 2, Al Wilson, the gentle soul who slipped into silence. Al Wilson had one of those voices that made you stop whatever you were doing and feel. In 1973, Show and Tell hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, a rare crossover for a soul ballad dripping with sincerity.
So show me and tell me that you feel the same.
It was the kind of song that turned wedding receptions into slow dances and made car rides feel like movies. But after that peak, the industry did what it so often does. It moved on. Despite releasing more music and staying active on the soul circuit, Wilson was quietly boxed out by shifting trends. The disco wave rolled in, labels restructured, radio tightened. Al continued to tour through the 1980s and 1990s, often playing oldies festivals where fans still remembered that one golden hit. But by the 2000s, health issues caught up. He was preparing a comeback album when kidney failure took him in 2008. No scandal, no headline, just a soft fade out for a man whose voice once held the world. But trust me, nothing will prepare you for the final story. It's not just about a voice lost, it's about a movement halted and a wound that never fully healed. Number 1, Otis Redding, the king of soul who never saw his crown. He was just 26. That's the hardest part to swallow. By the time Otis Redding boarded that twin-engine plane in December 19-ish, he had already reshaped soul music. Try a Little Tenderness, These Arms of Mine, and I've Been Loving You Too Long weren't just songs. They were sermons of love, longing, and raw human spirit.
I've been loving you.
Otis had just recorded a new track, something different, a quiet whistled tune called Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. It was vulnerable, stripped down, and whispered of change.
I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching.
He never lived to see its release. The crash in Madison, Wisconsin took him his bandmates, and that rising second act away forever. When Dock of the Bay hit #1 posthumously, it was bittersweet. It wasn't just a hit, it was a goodbye, a vision unfulfilled. And to this day, it remains one of the most haunting chart toppers in music history. His legacy didn't fade, it echoed in every voice that cracked with emotion, in every soul singer who dared to whisper and wail. From fiery trailblazers to soft-spoken geniuses, these legends didn't leave the stage quietly. They were forced off it, but their echoes live on in every note, every heartbreak, every soul that still dares to sing. Thanks for joining us on this Soul Stroll. Subscribe to keep the groove alive and never miss our next tribute. And click the end screen to watch the final songs that ended legendary R&B careers. It hid last songs of R&B artists. Let's keep their voices rising together.